Today we're talking about this 1992 film by Alexander Rockwell called In the Soup. It stars some familiar faces: Steve Buscemi, Seymour Cassel, rest in peace, he is fantastic. A few other people that people might recognize: Stanley Tucci, fairly recognizable. His character is pretty funny, plays a nice Frenchman. Sam Rockwell. Quite a few notable actors in this film, but I had never heard of this film before last week when it was recommended to me. And honestly, it seemed right up my alley. I kind of just read the logline, the very quick one here: an aspiring young filmmaker gets involved with an eccentric gangster for the financing of his first film. I was hooked. Yeah, so I mean, getting right into the spoiler-free review, no spoilers or anything, but it was at the Sundance Film Festival that actually won the jury prize over another film starring Steve Buscemi, which is a little more well-known. It won over Reservoir Dogs. They came out the same year, and Reservoir Dogs lost to In the Soup, which is the more indie darling. I guess at the time, Reservoir Dogs, doesn't have the prestige that we know that it has nowadays, Quentin Tarantino and everything, but I see why In the Soup won. I think that Seymour Cassel absolutely carried the film. Yeah, I see he's a Wes Anderson man. And then The Man Who Wasn't There. Oh, I love that movie. The Coen brothers, legendary. A few other things, but yeah, he died in 2019. Rest in peace. He was so funny in this movie. I think that Seymour Cassel's character in this was like absolutely phenomenal. There's a few scenes that like he just kills it, and he's mysterious, but I think the fact that he's so charming, and like it says here, he's so eccentric, and he's so, I don't know, he's just so happy the whole time, even though, he's a gangster, he's going around, he's kind of just living life like it's his own video game. He's like in GTA, and he's just living how he wants to. And yeah, no, it was just so entertaining to watch him on the screen the whole time. Yes, actually, I did read, or sorry, I didn't read. I did listen to the interview with Toby Jones right after I watched this film. And no, he had great things to say. And I love the story. He was in Budapest filming something. He's like, on my off day, I'll just go to the random art house cinema and see what's playing. And he said it was the year after this came out. So it was 1993, something, less notable at the time in 1993. He just gave it a shot and he loved it. And yeah, his theories were like, oh yeah, sometimes you're like wondering if he's even real. Maybe he's like a, like a Fight Club kind of thing where he's like, oh, maybe this is just like his manifestation of another personality that was, just more outgoing, more eccentric, getting what he wants. But yeah, no, that was a great interview with Toby Jones. He had a lot of good things to say there. I'm trying to remember everything else that he said in there. The themes of making a film where he knew at that point in his life, he knew a lot of wannabe directors, wannabe writers, and people who were trying to get into the business. And he said that the allure of the film was a lot of the people who were making the film seemed to just be having a good time. He heard a story, which I also saw an interview with a few of the actors afterwards. I think it was like, a reunion. I think it was Jennifer Beals' character. And or I guess just her in real life. She was saying that the film had a very like spontaneous, happy production to it. Like they said they had a really good time on it. And the one example that she gave was there's a scene on a rooftop where it's snowing and they're kind of just out there. Steve Buscemi has like his camera. He's filming her dancing with a Sam Rockwell's character in there and a dog on a roof when it's snowing there in New York. And they were just like, yeah, spur of the moment. We just went up there because it was snowing and it looked nice and it felt like the vibe of the film. And honestly, yeah, it was a very good, feel-good scene in there. It fit right in there. And so that Toby Jones also mentioned like, yeah, the allure of that and just how, yeah, it was just a movie about people wanting to make movies. Those are definitely like, the themes of the film. Like Steve Buscemi is just like an exaggeration of every like indie film director being like, I'm going to make a movie and it's going to be great. It's like myself, a wannabe film director. It's like Steve Buscemi's character is just like the cocky version of everybody. Because for me, I feel I'm not that like brash. I'm not that like boastful or anything. But then Steve Buscemi's like, he's offering this role to his neighbor, to Jennifer Beals' character. And it's like, oh, yeah, it's okay. You're going to be rich and famous when you're in my movie. Because, my movie's not like all the other movies out there. It's going to be good. It's like, it's going to be different. It's going to be great. And then, I forget, what was the title of the movie in the film again? It was like, That's great. Oh, there we go. Unconditional surrender. Thank you, Sunny_Jim, for this reference here. So yes, we have Steve Buscemi's character who says his 500-page screenplay, Unconditional Surrender, is going to be the best thing that you've ever seen in your life. And I think that's, yeah, before I go into spoilers, I think that this is just like, it's a very quick movie, 93 minutes. I think it flies by. There's a lot of talking, but I think that Seymour Cassell's character just like, again, eats up the screen, entertaining anything that comes out of his mouth. There's a lot of like funny one-liners where, like I said, Steve Buscemi is the exaggeration of like every pretentious filmmaker, and Seymour Cassell kind of brings him down to earth. Like in that Letterboxd comment there that I just read, it was like, so Steve Buscemi's like, oh, I wanted to be, influenced by Renoir, Tarkovsky, and then Seymour Cassell's like, no, don't pull that crap, and Steve Buscemi's like, what do you mean? He's like, you know exactly what you're doing, and it's like, as the viewer, we all know exactly what he's doing. Just throwing out those names, want to be different. Everybody wants to be different. And then there was, I think, Seymour Cassell's character. I kind of like his perspective on like making the movie. Not like, the way he's going about finance and everything and, his criminal gangster activities. But he was saying, there was a great line. He said, I think he was like, oh, why not make a romance, Let's make a romance movie, a romantic movie. And Steve Buscemi's like, romance has been done a million times, blah, blah, blah. And then Seymour Cassell's character is like, I don't know. Whenever I hear I love you, it sounds fresh every time. Oh, great line. Fantastic. He just like, you can't really tell if his character is like just going about this like real life GTA and just like, going around, messing around. Oh yeah, I'll finance your movie. You're just like some schlub, clearly is a little, easily manipulated and will have a good time, or if he like actually has this artistic vision and wants to like leave something behind or anything like that. I have a feeling you like watching movies. Okay, I see how it is. But no, I guess In the Soup is another one of these. You get a lot more out of it if you're like a movie maker yourself, because of all of the, you see bits of yourself, maybe moments that you've like seen, whether it was yourself or like a friend or somebody you knew, or just like your subliminal thoughts being like Steve Buscemi, just completely exaggerating them. And so, oh no, this one was a really good time. And again, like I said, some of the scenes were just absolutely hilarious. It has a very big feel of Frances Ha, which again, another, pretentious movie to throw out there. I don't know if you've ever seen that, Lost Rivers, but Frances Ha, Noah Baumbach, Greta Gerwig, who have now since moved on and done Barbie and everything. But I believe that one was, black and white in New York. Adam Driver was in it as well. Pretty funny, very like low key, very low budget, going around and, living life in like their 20s. And I think it's very reminiscent of that. Very funny. A little bit exaggerated, but exaggerating characters in a way where it's like there's still characteristics that you notice and like can relate to your real life. And so I think it's just as good as Frances Ha. I love Frances Ha as well. But the one thing I don't like about movies is that you have to watch them. It's a big turnoff for me. If only there was a way to inject them right into your veins. There are movies like that where you want/have/watch them, but not to actually have watched them. Definitely. I think some of the big ones for me are like, yeah, I guess going into a bit of spoilers for In the Soup, not like anything crazy, but some of the scenes that just stuck out to me. The funniest scene for me was Steve Buscemi trying to learn to dance, and he's playing this record, and he's listening to him. They're going like 1, 2, 3, 4, whoever's like voicing on the recording. And then the music starts and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, a lot faster. He's getting upset. He's like, why is it so much faster? Why is it getting so much faster? He's like trying to do this dance. He's doing really bad. And Seymour Cassell's character is on the side and he's just losing it laughing. It's so good. It was so funny. He's just laughing at him in the grand context of everything. Him being this gangster, like in that point in the movie, it's like they're gonna go out for dinner with the girl next door who he's always liked, because Seymour Cassell's like, he just like will do anything. And then, oh, that was great. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a few other scenes. Oh yeah, when Steve Buscemi's first reading his script, he starts to talk about Nietzsche and Dostoevsky. That's like the first scene. Those are the characters. and they're having this pretentious dialogue, and the way it's cut, it's edited. You see Seymour Cassell's character just like losing his mind, falling asleep. And he says, whoa, 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 okay. What page are you on? And he says, oh, I'm on page 4 of 500. And then he hands Steve Buscemi a gun. He's like, okay, here, shoot me. Because if you read one more line, I am going to blow your brains out. Because you have, throughout the whole movie, Seymour Cassell's character's like, let's make a romance. We just got to make an entertaining movie. Let's make it something good. And then Steve Buscemi, being the pretentious film man that he is like, it's got to be big. It's got to be new. It's got to be fresh. Dostoevsky and Nietzsche. Which is also, again, another grand hyperbole of like people making pretentious movies for the sake of like doing something different. It's like, I feel like that's just like the very top echelon of pretentiousness. Like, I'm a little bit pretentious with some of the scripts that I've written, but actually having Dostoevsky and Nietzsche having a conversation, that's a lot. Like that doesn't actually happen. Hopefully nobody's done that. You know what? I have this great idea actually. Okay, never mind. I feel like most of the scenes that I would want to highlight are with Seymour Cassell's character, and it's like this, the way the plot goes isn't like terribly unpredictable. It's like, yeah, he's getting into it with this gangster, and the gangster's like very like, he's powerful and he's like manipulating Steve Buscemi's character, but like, it's just so fun all around. I really did enjoy it quite a bit, and the ending. They get Jennifer Beals' character in on everything. They never actually make a movie, right? They never make a movie, which also is a thing that can resonate with film people, where it's like we all have these grand ideas, tell people about them, and then just procrastinate. Things happen. You don't actually like get to it. And then in the end, he thinks that Steve Buscemi's character thinks that Seymour Cassell's character betrayed him. They're at this like their oceanside, and then Jennifer Beals' character has a gun. She points it at Seymour Cassell's like, no, we got to stop this. This is going crazy. This is going too far. And we think that she might have shot, but then he's like, no, I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. And then they sit down and they talk, and they're like, hey, you know what? We got this movie. We got it, And then Steve Buscemi's like, I got this great idea. We got it all figured out. His moment of realization. But then Seymour Cassell's character actually did get shot. He's bleeding and he's dying out. And we never know if he actually wanted to make something, if getting all this money illegally was to make something, or if it was just to like have a good time. Because Steve Buscemi, Steve Buscemi's character is like, you know what? Let's just make a simple movie about us, about what happened. And it was a nice like tender moment where Steve Buscemi's like trying to realize something on his own, getting a bit away from his pretentiousness. Still has it, but I thought it was a great ending. I thought it was a phenomenal ending. And some of the crimes that they commit along the way, Seymour Cassell's character, we have dressing up as Santa Claus and stealing like a Porsche from like a policeman. Never get caught for any of this. They break into a house in the middle of the night, and then an old man with like dementia comes down and starts talking to Steve Buscemi, and he pretends to be his son. He's like, oh, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to make a movie. And then the old man's like, oh, I just want to, pipe my wife one more time. And it's like, oh, why don't you just do it? He's like, she's dead. I was like, oh. And this guy just like, he's like, yeah, his house is being broken into, but then they're having like this kind of like honest conversation at the same time. It was a great scene. I don't know, a lot of like the little encounters. The script is just really strong. The dialogue in these moments are just great. As Jones said, the movie he should have made is the one we've been watching. Yeah, exactly. And I love those kind of ones that kind of, come full circle, makes you think about the grand context of how this movie was made rather than the movie in the movie was made. Yeah, I think that's great. And at the time, actually, Alexander Rockwell was married to Jennifer Beals. And so a lot of the infatuation the characters all have with Jennifer Beals' character, as in Steve Buscemi being a filmmaker, being infatuated with her, you can relate that all back to Alexander Rockwell and just like make those connections with him and Steve Buscemi's character, which are all very interesting. How was this movie funded? That's just a grand question. Was it legal? Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to say about In the Soup. It was a great time. This is exactly the kind of movie I was looking for. Great recommendation. And yeah, I'm actually, next weekend, I'm shooting a short film. And some of the themes in this relate to it. And just like thinking about the process relating to this movie, it's been pretty entertaining. So, no gangsters are funding it. So, maybe I should find myself a eccentric gangster to help do that. But